So, and the folks who use that, we kind of thought, oh, this will be great for the busy moms, put time back in their day. There are certainly those moms who are use it, but you know, there's a lot of generational habits to change before mom's willing to give up laundry. Like,
Yeah.
they unfortunately moms have been
May go faster now.
well, I think so, but there's been this kind of I'll say it's a lie, but there's been this sort of entrenched belief that, oh, to be a good mom, I've got to do laundry, and I would tell you that's not true. That's a subconscious belief that a lot of moms have. So it's been hard to get them to trust us with their laundry. So what you do have is you've got busy professionals or college kids and young kids, and so they're and it's all across the spectrum. It's the guy who's working 80 hours of construction and he's got really dirty construction clothes, but he's light on free time, so he's going to bring us his clothes, let us handle it, so he can get on. It's the guy who's traveling Monday through Thursday and he doesn't want to spend time doing laundry on the weekend, so he's going to drop it off with us. So that service is amazing. It's still early in the season of market adoption for that service, but I think more and more people are going to see value in their time.
I didn't think about the like my guys that really get soiled, and just having a really, for lack of a better word, just a really good clean.
Mm-hmm.
They may not even know what it feels like, because my guys in the summertime, especially, we're wringing wet. I mean,
oh yeah.
I don't, and if they can get a really good clean and see what that feels like. For me, if my guys are more comfortable when they're working, that's not even something I was really thinking about. But but I do think about the guys being comfortable when they're working, for having water, being hydrated, getting some shade and everything. But just the feel of your clothes against your body, especially when you're really working hard.
We've got a little extra dirty, extra scent cycle, for those really tough loads where, hey, this is a work shirt that it's been worked in.
It's bad. It's bad.
So let's give that the little extra.
Okay. And now I'm going to go to, because this is a big part of building Dallas, is the construction process, because you're building. Now you haven't done a new building. You're going into existing.
We haven't done ground up yet. We would love to do ground up.
Okay, so that's coming.
Yes.
Okay, but how has there been anything with the city of Dallas or with building officials that's been anything unique about your system and getting through the system? Because we got a lot of contractors listening, and I'm sure they want to know.
Well, so one of the partners in my business is a gentleman named Dylan Salvo, and his background is construction. And he's one of the more godly men I've ever met, and he's one of the best GCs I've ever met. We are consistently delivering on time, on budget construction projects. So we're building these things in 3 months, and he's hitting it.
Wow.
Which is to answer your question, the hard part of that, apart from the standard permitting thing, is when you walk into a white box that was previously an Aaron's Rent-A-Center, like this Oak Cliff. Well, they don't have enough water for us. They don't have enough electricity. So the box that we walk into, we've got to upgrade almost all of the utilities.
Okay.
So the dance between the city and Encore and the services side is really important. So for us, he's gonna jumpstart that project as quick as he can, demo, and a lot of times he's talking to the city before we've even got the lease finalized. So that he can walk through those upgrades, make sure the water's there and available. And we learned on our second one, gas needs to start immediately. So
because you're changing of income, your supply side.
That's exactly right.
Probably larger pipes, or
that's right. We may have to go from a 1/2 inch to a 2-inch line.
So that's substantial construction for all you guys that aren't in construction, that we're excavating. We're getting into the floors, we're getting into the walls,
we're doing a lot of saw cutting of floors. So it's a, this is not a finish out of a restaurant. This is we're gonna completely modify this space. And those guys have been phenomenal at it. And the fact that if I show you day 7 of construction as they're, kind of finishing out demo and starting to saw cut floors, and then you walked into a finished product to believe that that occurred in about 2 months' time, and stayed on budget, he's phenomenal. So, I would say, you know, as we build this platform, my company owns and operates Thai franchises. I would say we've discovered that early on that kind of our 2 superpowers are, um, we're really good at construction. We've got the right team, the right methodology to get into a site and turn it into something amazing faster than anybody else can, cheaper than anybody else can. And then we're going to staff it with some amazing people who, drive 5-star reviews. I mean, go look at Google on Oak Cliff. This store's been open a month. It's got 500 5-star reviews.
I need to talk to you about how I get my guys to get more of it. That's incredible. 500 reviews in a month.
Yeah.
For people who are in the world of getting reviews.
And those aren't bots. Those are people, and Google doesn't flag us because those people are in our store giving that review.
Okay. That goes perfectly into, I was just looking at my questions here on your hiring process, because you've mentioned this all through the interview so far about your people in the store, and your partners, that are helping you, that are doing the construction. But let me start with, because I want to do a few questions on this. What are you looking for? What's your process in hiring the people that are on site? The face. They're not going to know you. They're not going to know your partner that's building the thing. They're not going to know the investors that put the money in. The guy that they see his face.
Yep.
What do you guys do that you think is special?
Well, so I'm gonna even pull back a little bit more to answer that question. So, why did I do laundromats? I was a tech guy running a software company, a lot of success, was looking at different software opportunities, and ended up saying yes to a laundry business. Why? Why would I do that?
That's a jump.
There's a lot of days when I'm driving around or dealing with a tricky homeless situation and saying, like, what decisions did I make that led me here? But I digress.
Yes.
But there were a few reasons why. One was, hey, I love this play. It's an execution play. It's a culture and execution play, and then speed of execution play. Love it. Love it. It's a great business, and if you can do it with speed and excellent execution, you can build a really valuable asset. Love that. I love the partners behind the business. I don't have enough money to build these by myself. I needed capital partners. For entrepreneurs out there, I think there's enough of us that have had bad experience with capital partners that it goes without saying that you've got to be aligned on the things that matter most with your capital partners. So my capital partners, one of the guys who founded this private equity firm, I've taught Bible studies with for 10 plus years. Our boys have grown up together. He's one of the more godly men I've ever met in my life. And he founded a private equity company that is overtly faith-based. They want to invest in operators and businesses that make a kingdom impact, as well as a profit and a return. So that was really important. But the third thing is kind of to get to your question is I've built some really amazing cultures in the Navy. I built a really great culture at a software company. And most of those people kind of self-selected into that experience. Right. And the folks that we hired at the software company are college grads who, had a great upbringing, a mom and dad in the home, and every advantage you could have growing up. I had never built a culture in a segment of the population that is historically underappreciated, underinvested in. Hourly wage workers, many of whom, we don't have the same native language. And I thought to myself, I've built great growth cultures elsewhere. Could I do it here? Could we build a culture where somebody like that who just needs a chance, if they came into our culture with our leadership, with our encouragement and mentoring and coaching, could they just take off? Could they fly? So as we hire on a site, and hiring on a site is really hard because this is a different, you can't run a laundromat with $70,000 attendance. It doesn't work. Yeah. Right. So you're out there competing against the other hourly wage jobs. And so it's highly competitive, and getting that team is tricky. One of the advantages we have is they come in, they're like, okay, this is different for all the reasons we've talked about.
Yeah.
as we get more scale and we're lucky to have the cleaners, we have a store lead in there that's, ready to go, differentiated. This is somebody who's been brought up in our culture, knows that, hey, the biggest part of your job is to make sure that you are a multiplier of life through people. Right? So the real answer is it's really hard. Like a lot of times it's like a week before open and I'm like, well, I'm going to be working some shifts. And so far the experience has been, hey, we're going to hire 6 or 7 folks, and 3 of those folks are pretty quickly going to decide that their life's headed in a different direction, and they don't like cleaning dryer vents, and that's okay. But 3 or 4 of them are going to stick, and then they're going to tell people, I found this place, it's amazing. Like they offer me benefits, and they always pay on time, and they encourage me, and they're curious about who I am and what's happening at home, and so it always multiplies. We
because
always get other people coming in.
that may have not been their experience on the last 3 or 4 jobs they've had.
That's exactly right.
Patrick, when you just said, because we do this here, that you get paid on time, that the people that you're working with are interested in you, man, that's so huge. And that your equity company isn't just pressing you on. Sounds to me like they're not just pressing you on the dollar. They really are interested in the people that are making it work. That's
well, Chris, that's all that matters. Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what we make on this, the returns we give to our investors, that'll be forgotten. The only thing eternal about this is the relationships. In the business. So why do I do laundry? Well, this is where the relationships pulled me. So
I tell all my guys when we're talking about sales and stuff, I go, guys, remember, we've never sold anything to a roof or to a building or to a house. We're selling to a person. So it's the person that's the most important thing. And if they know that we care about them and that we have their best in mind, are we going to sell everything? No. They're gonna consider us, I guarantee you. And you know what? We get a lot of referrals from people that didn't use us. Later in our business, it's kind of, then you go with who you went with and you get what you get. And then we get a call from someone. We go, where'd you hear from us? They heard from the person that didn't use it and said, don't use that guy again. Go with Arrington. So,
well, I'll tell you, I want to, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I'll
go ahead.
tell you a fun story, because these are the best stories, right? Every meeting that we have,
I suppose if I ask,
every meeting we have starts with Take Laundry, Give Life. Like let's talk about how that's happening in the business. Every meeting, whether I'm talking with our investors, or I'm talking with our leadership team, or I'm talking with the staff on site. But it's who we are, and we're, if you're not flame for being a cult, your culture is not strong enough. And I am obnoxious about Take Laundry, Give Life. And so the vision was, hey, could somebody come into our environment and have a different life outcome that just wouldn't be available elsewhere? So I have an area manager. Her name's Darlene Morales, and single mama too. We love her, lives with her. So to make things work, and she was in the business and working for us in the cleaners. Came after I started. She came in shortly after, and she was just made herself known for doing whatever. She was a yes. She was an above the line, never complained, never a victim. Just say yes. She's not the most bubbly personality you'll ever meet. She's a little bit introverted and shy, but she's a really hard worker who is loyal and trustworthy and just says yes. So as we looked at store one, we said, okay, hiring an outside store lead is risky. Do we have a good candidate? And we said, how about Darling? And it said, we struggled with it because she's not the big give life personality. But what she is again, an above the line, see it, solve it, do it kind of ownership mentality. So we gave her a chance. At the time, she was making, in the cleaners, $13 an hour, right? Really struggling to get by, because it's a hard job. So she took over the store lead, and she did excellent. She was excellent. So she got a raise. She did excellent. As we looked at store number 2, and we said, okay, who's available? What can we get in? We said, well, could Darwin manage 2 stores? She's the best person we have. Like, and the whole time we're training her, we're developing her. She's asking great questions. She's so curious. She wants to be great, right?
Yeah.
Never had a chance to be
Yeah.
before. And so we give her the opportunity. Hey, you're gonna be over these stores. You're gonna share time. And so, without belaboring the point, fast forward. Darlin just moved to salary. She's area manager over these 4 stores. She participates in our leadership meetings. She's got her own set of goals and OKRs. This is, somebody who grew up in California, barely got out of high school, and was headed towards a life of just trying to get by. And she's fundamentally transformed, not just her life, but her boys. And it's just been awesome.
Chase, we need to take a break. Oh, Patrick, that's
the older I get, the easier I tear up.
Yep, same here. I'll shout out to Rick Lawson, one of my best friends. I feel like cry on every podcast we do. I can't help it. But you know what? When stories like that make being a businessman not a bad thing, because there's so many people that look at being a businessman, you're trying to rip people off, you're trying to get something from them, you're all about yourself, and I think that your stories today and just the time we've had just reassures me that most businessmen, I would say, are interested in the greater good and want to do well. You've mentioned a couple of times, your mission about giving life, but the store has to make it.
Yeah.
It has to make a profit, or then you don't even have it. So, building Dallas, and that's a hard line to walk sometime. If you've got a story or anything you want to say about your investors, because you told me earlier that they have really meant a lot to you, and that's the guys that nobody's going to see. They're going to say they're just the rich guys over there. They got everything handed to them. Nobody likes them, But when it comes down to business, all the business people that are listening to this know if you don't have capital, there's not a lot you can do. It takes forever to build something from nothing.
Well, for entrepreneurs, this is true of every business. It wasn't necessarily true in the Navy, but it's certainly true at the software company here. Is the taking laundry part of our mission, really the revenue side of our mission, that earns us the right to give life, right? You've got to take laundry. You've got to have revenue, right? The vehicle to getting to build relationships, to getting to add people to your team, to getting to create these amazing stories is create a profitable business. You have to do it. These guys who are behind me, I think what makes them different is, capital partners will get a bad rap because they only want to see the spreadsheet. And if the spreadsheet doesn't look the way it's supposed to be, then they're going to be on you about every decision you make, about every expense that is incurred. These guys care about the spreadsheets, but they care about the people more. So again, when we talk about the business, we're going to talk about the revenue side. We're going to talk about how much that has fallen to the bottom line,
right?
But we're going to talk about the people stories. When they're talking to the people who are writing checks for the fund, they're telling those stories. And not only are they telling them, they're leading with them. I mean, it's a key part of their differentiation in the market is as they go to check writers and say, here's who we are, that one of the key parts is like, hey, we think we're going to generate this amazing return for you. But that's not the best part. Let us tell you about what's going to happen to the people who flow through this business, who let me tell you about this operator and where he's from, what he believes in, what's important to him, and what he's done previously. And so I just couldn't be more appreciative of, Portion Capital. Shout out to you guys. You guys, they're the best possible capital partner I could have ever prayed for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So to wrap up, what are we going to be looking for in the future with the Tide Cleaners? And what's the official name?
So Tide Laundromat is the laundromat, and Tide Cleaners is the cleaner side. So, one brand, but sister services and sister companies. The growth. This is a growth
We've
company.
got 4 right now?
We've got 4 right now. You know, the thesis is we think we can do 30 plus in the greater DFW marketplace marketplace, and as
Is that like inside LBJ
no, no,
or
no, no.
no?
That's pushing out to Fort Worth
Okay.
but
Metroplex.
right, the entire metroplex, and we've got the ability with our partnership Procter and Gamble to push all the way up into Oklahoma and Oklahoma City, down through Waco and east and west. So it's a growth company, you know, like you said in that beautiful intro that I wrote. You know, if you get into a business and you focus on growing yourself and growing your people, the customers are going to grow and the business is going to grow and you're going to get to fill that funnel again. It's this awesome virtuous feedback loop. So our plan is to grow. You know, you've got 4 today. I hope when we talk again, you know, next year we've added 5 or 6 to it.
Got it. And it's not like the competition's gone away.
No, it's
yeah.
laundromats are the hot thing right now. It's a very frothy market, and there's some good competitors entering the space. So that's great. It forces us to be who we say we are.
That I'm so glad you mentioned that. Another thing about being in business is I think as good business people, you appreciate the other businesses that are really good because without them, sometimes people aren't going to see or believe that there is something
Right.
better. And so they just reinforce that, you know, there's a bunch of good companies out here, but tide's coming. And from what I've seen of your product, it's an amazing product. It will make the good companies better and probably put some of the bad ones out of business,
Exactly
which is always good. The general public, the Metroplex will thrive more from everybody raising their game a little bit.
That's right. You know, you're 100% right, and there's no better place to do that in Dallas. But, you
Yeah.
know, you asked a little bit about construction and what it's like working in these communities in the cities. The answer is awesome. You know, I wouldn't trade places with the guys in Chicago for anything.
Yeah.
You know, there's no place I'd rather be executing on this. You know, business friendly operators. It's an entrepreneurial city, and there's a bunch of awesome builders, just like you
Yeah.
just said.
Yeah. Okay, Patrick, anything else that you want to leave us with?
No, I would just say thank you. This has been really fun. I've never done a
Good.
podcast before, so the chance to get on here and talk about what it means to give life at Tide Laundromat Dallas and Tide Cleaners Dallas is a blessing to me, and I'm just very appreciative.
Right. And I like to tell everybody that's listening to look for Tide laundromats and just go experience it. And if you are looking for a place to work and that's where you want to work, you need to call these guys and you need to go see them. You need to go see them now. This is Chris Arrington with Building Dallas. We're glad you watched. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. But look at that.
Awesome.
11:19.
Right on time.
You were in that last story at 14 after. I'm like, I gotta go. You gotta finish that one.
I'm good. The airline just pinged me.
Man.
I like the sound of my own voice.
You almost had a tear in there. I'm like, I'm wiping my eyes. I don't know.
I'm passionate about this.
You said Darlene or
It's funny, her name is Darlene, which is
Darlin. That's what it sounded like, Darlin. I thought, but it's not. He's not saying Darlin.
It's weird when I'm in front of others when I'm like, "Hey, Darlene," I'm like, "That's her name."
Yes. I'm married. I'm happily married. I got 5 kids. Yeah. It's fucking the Darlin. I love those stories. So now she's managing 2 stores.
She's managing 4, so she's over all of them. She's
got
yeah. It's such a we didn't talk about it, but like for
man,
that leap of my value is how many hours I work to my value is the value I create. You know, that leap from hourly to salary. It's a hard one for people to make.
Yes.
When they've done it for so long. You guys work in this, you know.
Oh,